Hello and welcome to Café Kouvénta, an Ethnikos Kirikas National Herald broadcast. Today I have the pleasure of welcoming a remarkable guest whose work has shaped the landscape of Greek hospitality, design, and entrepreneurship. Born in Crete, Costantza Sbokou Constantakopoulou is the co-owner and co-CEO of Phāea Resorts, one of Greece's leading privately owned hotel groups. She's also a senior architect and the head of the architectural and procurement department at Athens, a major force in developing high-end tourism and real estate destinations across the country. Her leadership extends well beyond the world of hospitality, however. Costantza serves as chairwoman of the Endeavor Greece and is a member of the board of trustees of the Benaki Foundation. She also sits on the boards of Elia MEP, the Captain Vasilis and Carmen Constantakopoulou Foundation, and Zeus and Leone. She holds degrees from the National Technical University of Athens and the Harvard Graduate School of Design, and she speaks not only Greek and English, but also Turkish and Spanish. She's very impressive. Costanza, thank you. Welcome to Café Kouvénta. We have admired your work from afar, so it's a delight to be able to put a face to the name. With such an impressive career, rooted in creativity, strategy, and global outlook, I have to begin with something a little more personal. You were born in Crete, and my mother is Cretan as well. So I always feel a special connection to people who come from the island. Do you think that being born from an island culture, and from Crete specifically, influenced your early fascination with hospitality and shaped the way that you view the guest experience? And before we get to your response and your introductory remarks, I have to say to our audience that is listening and both watching this broadcast today that we have approached this a little bit differently in terms of the broadcast. It's more guerrilla style today. We are here at the Mark Hotel, and so there might be one or two voices that you hear in the background, but we'll do our best. And we're just grateful that Ms. Costanza has given us graciously her time. So without further ado, Costanza.
So thank you, first of all, Eraklis, for hosting me today and for having this Kouvénta and the beautiful Mark. It's a pleasure to be in New York. My son studies here at Columbia, so it's always a great excuse to come back to the city. But before that, we're coming every year for the Endeavor event, always in December. We have the time to say a bit more about Endeavor, but going back to your question, I would say that Crete and my heritage has been always inside me. And I think it gave me the motivation to do more, to go beyond the island, but always with a great pride from my homeland, and which I carry inside me to everything I do, wherever I go. And I think that's been I would say, the power I have, because the island gives you the feeling of freedom, confidence, but also motivation to go far beyond its small borders. So yes, the island Crete has been a great DNA for me, and I think today.
Crete is renowned for their hospitality, so I'm assuming
Indeed.
that was kind of embedded into adulthood. I'm sure that only continued.
Indeed. And actually, my family started engaging in hospitality since the late 70s. My father founded the company, engineer profession. He studied in National Technical University of Athens. Then he got a scholarship to come to US at MIT. But his mother, my grandmother, said, you better stay here. We will support you financially, but you should be an entrepreneur. Basically, he said you should start something to support the family. Very typical for a Cretan family, maybe for a Greek family. Yeah. But this is long story short, how he engaged in hospitality. First hotel back in Crete in 1978, and since then he had been in hotelier. Unfortunately, we missed him last summer. I studied in the state. I studied again. I'm an architect. I studied in National Technical University of Athens. Then I came here to Harvard with a scholarship of Fulbright. I had my master's degree, and although I found a job back then, I received a call. I think it was more of a fear whether I would decide to stay here permanently or come back to Crete. And he said, we are starting an amazing new project. It took me a week to make a decision, so I never regretted I went back to Crete, and that was an amazing experience being at the construction site from the very first day all the way to the opening. Huge school for me. That was Blue Palace in 2003, which today, and I'm jumping to a new chapter, but today, Blue Palace, after 23 years, as one of flagships of Marriott, one of the luxury collection hotels, today is becoming the first Rosewood of Greece, together with a component of villas. We are very proud that this amazing firm enters the Greek market through us.
Quite a vote of confidence.
Indeed, also a huge responsibility, but we're very proud and we are also very excited.
Very good. That is a very huge achievement, and it's a milestone for Greek hospitality in Crete. And I know that you mentioned that you started getting involved in the early 2000s to Greece. And that is, for the listeners and the viewers of Café Kouvénta, the eternal question, especially from those who directly leave Greece, is wherever it is. It might not be just the United States. It could be Germany. It could be the United Kingdom. It could be Australia. It could be Canada. Do I go back? Do I stay here where I studied, where I maybe have found a job, or do I go back and apply what I've learned and try to grow within Greece and take it as far as I can go? So it's very interesting that you said that. You obviously, with your architectural background, and especially in Greece, it was a male-dominated field. How challenging was it, even in the early 2000s, not that long ago, was it for you in that market?
So, two points. One thing is whether someone goes back or not. That's an interesting question and always, an internal debate. For me, first of all, I believe that we would be living in a better world if the Americans had the opportunity to study in Europe or Asia, and vice versa. So, and the Europeans take the opportunity and come to US for their studies. I think this exchange of culture, it's a great asset for their life, for us to understand how we think. I think there are great advantages and benefits both sides of the ocean. The first time I came here in the US was as a student, was actually during my studies in National Technical University of Athens. I took a course at Harvard, and the first thing I realized is that, okay, this place here, they have already forgotten what they did last minute. They are always looking forward. That was very refreshing. That was very liberating. At the same time, they didn't have any, I felt there was no handicap of the past, history, and I'm not necessarily saying this the negative way. I'm just saying they were so forward looking that could actually drive progress and innovation. But there's a great value in history, in our heritage, in our culture, and this is something you receive from Europe. So if you have the opportunity to blend these things in a personality, in a person, and also bring this culture closer together, then you understand the world better and you respect both sides. And I think innovation is equally important to culture and heritage. So these things can be in one person if you have experience from both sides of the Atlantic. So my advice was always try to travel. This is the advice I give to my kids. Travel, go around the world, explore, learn. Everyone has something positive and something important to say, every culture, every place. And it is a great value if you can return back to your country and offer and contribute to the progress of the country. And I think today, Greece is a place that people have a lot of opportunities to come back. There are a lot of incentive for those entrepreneurs, founders, investors, individuals who left at some point or even never had any connection, but they love the story of our country. I'm keeping my voice loud because it's being a very vital place. So I think it's a great place to be. The momentum of the country is great, and there are a lot of people that actually now thinking of coming back.
Yeah, we're going to actually get to that. And I wanted to kind of expand upon what you said before, cultural exchange. Is it more than a cultural exchange? Because of the nature of this podcast and Ethnikos Kirikas and the National Herald and you and your background as well, we're going to focus a little more on Greece and Cyprus, etc. Is it more than a cultural exchange? Is it also a mentality exchange? Because for so many years, and I know this isn't news to a lot of the members of the diaspora, a lot of the perception of Greece, of it getting in its own way sometimes, was the mentality sometimes fostered in the professional environment, and maybe not even just in the professional life. Is that critical for people in not just Greece, but in America as well to, experience the other side, but specifically Greek folks that live in Greece? Is it important to kind of see a difference in mentality in the professional settings, or is that something that as the years have gone by, the gap maybe has gotten smaller? If there is one.
I think there's different. There's definitely some mentality differences, but I think the gap has become smaller. I think there's a good number of people that have studied abroad. There's a lot of exchange of ideas through, the social media, internet. I mean, the life has changed. The generations have changed. So I don't necessarily see a difference so much the gap of mentality. I mostly see something deeper than that. And I think it's more about the perception of the world. And again, I'm trying always to see the positive thing to everywhere I go, to people I meet. So the forward-looking attitude and mindset of the people in US, it's something that we should take as a great example. The innovative way, what if question, let's try. Also, the approach of that failure is not necessarily a bad thing, is a step to success. These things do not exist. I mean, the failure is not easily accepted. So that is probably a mindset issue. But failure indeed shows that somebody is brave to try. Right? So, yes, there are some mentality issues, differences, but I think the gap is getting smaller. And we have to give credit to also to academia and exchange of students.
Of course, Europe has Erasmus. We study abroad here, but I think that in America, the study abroad programs can be more comprehensive and more immersive. But that's for another podcast, maybe. When you say that there might be a fear of failure in the Greek culture, perhaps, has that been a detriment to the entrepreneurial spirit?
Well, it has been up until today.
The fear of failure.
Yeah, the fear of failure. But again, I think now the fact that, again, as Endeavor Greece, we're doing a great work, I believe, to change this mindset, to showcase the success stories, the way the path to success goes through a lot of failures and a lot of efforts that don't necessarily reach the goal. So I think one of our contributions to the ecosystem of Greece is to bring the young entrepreneurs of our country in a close network, in close contact with international entrepreneurs. This exchange of ideas helps them understand that failure helps them understand a lot of things, but one of them is that failure is one step to success. So again, I think that one is the gap is closed, hopefully, and we're moving towards that direction. Yeah.
In some ways, it seems like not trying might be the biggest failure sometimes.
Not trying is the worst you can do in life. It's better to fail. It's better to make a wrong decision than no decision.
Yeah, dynamism. That's what we need. So you actually did part of my job for me. You segued right into Endeavor. Ms. Costantza, what is Endeavor for our listeners and our viewers out there who might not know what that is? What is Endeavor? What is it?
I hope everybody knows Endeavor.
Well, they're going to know now. Well, they're going to know now.
Okay, so Endeavor is an organization, is a global organization. Exists in more than 50 countries today. Started in late 90s. Basically, it supports entrepreneurs to overcome obstacles and become big and contribute to their ecosystem, create success stories, and really give back to the society. And by that great example, they're multiplying their impact in their ecosystem. So more like them follow the path, create new great businesses and so on. And today what used to be just an organization has become an amazing global platform where it gives innovation and technology and startups the way to connect in a global level, support each other, mentor each other, find access to capital. So it's a global platform. It's a huge network of amazing people in the entrepreneurial ecosystem that support each other and help global growth and creating also role models.
So it's basically a pipeline and also a guideline for entrepreneurs.
It's a supportive system for young entrepreneurs to become to have global success, and we help them with mentoring, access to capital, access to investors, and also networking. So this is basically the reason of Endeavor in a nutshell.
What does one need to do to be?
So it's a very strict process, and we are very proud of that. Because once you become a member, then you have ticked a lot of boxes, but then you have access to this amazing network and help. So in order to become one, basically you're related and connected with one of these 50 offices around the world. You go through a process which we call it local selection panel. Once you pass that, then you're invited to one of the international selection panels, and there you will be giving interviews by mentors or board members around the world, not those that have recommended you to be part of the network, but people from around the world. So you will go through interviews, explaining your business model, explaining your growth path and everything. And once you pass that process, after deliberations where everybody that has interviewed you discuss about the case, so once you pass, then you're part of the network. And then, all windows and doors are open for you. So this is in a nutshell the process.
So then you can participate in panels like Ms. Costanza and get to know the extensive network. So Endeavor came to Greece, correct me if I'm mistaken, in 2012.
2012. The founder is Mareva Grabowski-Mitsotakis, the first lady of Greece. Well, a visionary woman, an entrepreneur on her own, somebody who always thinks big and outside the box. She gathered an amazing board of directors at that time, very engaged, and basically they sought for this global support system for the young entrepreneurs of the country. We all believe that, entrepreneurship and great high impact entrepreneurs can turn around the economy. So the reason it was actually founded in 2012, it was because our economy was at the peak of the economic crisis. This is that I have to say we didn't waste in Greece.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that apart from the economic, and no, now I'm talking mostly about the crisis of COVID. That crisis we didn't waste. So we took this pause of the world and we completely transformed the country, or we started the transformation of the country. We became digital. The state actually supported certain processes, and we were the first to reopen tourism in Europe. A major step, huge responsibility from our state. It was a success, great collaboration from the entrepreneurial world, from the business people of tourism. But that success actually transformed Greece and put us to a completely different level. Credibility, great performance, and also trust to the people of tourism. So we established a great trust between the state and the business people. So I think that was a good example to see when you have a system that supports you and believes in you, it's something that can actually become very beneficial for the economy of.
So you touched on Ms. Grabowski-Mitsotakis, who clearly has some in terms of identifying board members. What role has the political stability in in Greece over the last 5 to 6 years. What has that done to help entrepreneurs that you've seen through your work with Endeavor or in your hospitality group, for that matter? We see in Greece year after year that it's one record falling after another in terms of total visitors.
Correct.
But that doesn't necessarily mean quality tourism in terms of real impact economically, not necessarily at least. Are you seeing that the political stability has been a direct correlation for increased travel and also a better, more conducive environment for entrepreneurs as opposed to what it was in 2012?
Well, I don't want to make necessarily comparisons, but I think every political stability around the world helps the ecosystem grow. So it goes without saying that if there is any country has political stability, this is for the benefit of the economy and indeed for tourism. People feel safe to travel in a certain destination. Obviously, they would not do so if there is no stability, but it's also a levels of stability, something that is internal and something that is global and external. I think the political stability, no matter what, plays an important role to any growth. So yeah, we do see. Now, in terms of quality of tourism, I think this is also conscious decision to move to more uh, to higher quality of tourism, and that helps also the sustainable growth in the tourism industry. Less impact, more revenues, and more and better growth.
I know that one of the knocks against maybe the Greek economy currently is that it's so key centered, focused. Do you think that hospitality plays a major role in maybe these entrepreneurs as well, maybe decentralizing a little bit the economic activity of Greece? Because the overwhelming percentage of the population lives in one city, and a lot of the investment goes to one city, the capital, Athens. Do you think that, because I know, for example, your family and your other business interests have invested in hospitality outside of Attikis and Endeavor? I mean, when you're talking about entrepreneurship, you can be an entrepreneur from anywhere. Now that we are in this digital age, you can be an entrepreneur from Kavala, you can be from Crete. So you don't necessarily need to be there, but the infrastructure, of course, helps. Do you think that the entrepreneurial background that Endeavor gives and the hospitality industry will they be able major drivers in terms of maybe spreading the growth outside of just the capital region?
What would spread the growth and in relation to tourism would be if tourism becomes not a seasonal industry but year-round industry. Otherwise, I don't think we're doing major steps towards decentralization. Once it becomes a permanent job for everyone, then the communities in the periphery will be permanent. People will move to Kavala, to Crete, to Rhodes, to Corfu, have their families there, and the community will grow. If not, then those people may be moving in seasons. So they may have a permanent residence in Athens and then they move in summer for their summer job. I think, again, great steps have been done towards this direction. One of them is the model of touristic lodges, which basically allows, under a certain law, to develop the vacation houses in a hospitality infrastructure.
And medical tourism is a sector of tourism.
Indeed. So in hospitality infrastructure, so that one allows the hotels stay open throughout the year, but also invites guests who are owners of villas to visit the country in shoulder season or even in winter, which actually Greece is beautiful in winter, almost as beautiful, well, not as beautiful, but very interesting and very beautiful in winter as well. The winter is mild, you experience that. So I think that is one point that could actually decentralize the economy.
Somebody who's involved with one of the two major sectors currently of the Greek economy, the tourism hospitality industry. Do you see that there's progress on that front to make
Yes, I do.
To make it a year-round destination?
Yes, I believe it's everybody understands this is
from the Minister of Tourism as well. She's talked about it extensively.
Yes, absolutely. We're trying to extend it at least for a month before and after, but I think everybody understands that this is a priority. So I think they've been taking actions towards this direction.
Well, speaking of cultural events and cultural significance, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that you were named a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador. So tell us a little bit about that role, how it came to be, and what do you hope to achieve?
But it's a great honor for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. A great honor, responsibility. Very excited. I believe that. I mean, it's really very very much at the beginning now, so I'm still learning a lot about this role. I think, and I hope I can contribute towards the protection and promotion of culture, and through that, understanding of people, building bridges through culture and intangible heritage. You can bring, as we said at the beginning of our discussion, people closer with more understanding and hopefully with less crisis around the world and conflicts. I do have some ideas. I think it's too early yet to express it, but culture has been always in my heart. I've been engaged in the Nike Museum since 2014, 13. Recently at the National Archaeological Museum of Athens as well. Board member where a huge and very ambitious project is undergo. So I think there are a lot of things that connects me with culture. And I hope with this experience and also my personal involvement in other initiatives, I will be able to help UNESCO and contribute to the vision. It's an organization that I've been admiring all my life. I've been following everything that they do. And now I'm so proud to be part of that. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see with great interest. I mean, culture is such a key part of the Greek identity since antiquity. It's played such a role in human. What do you think is the most pressing cultural concern in Greece? What do we need to get out there to our readers, viewers, our listeners?
I think there's a huge discussion about the marbles, but this is beyond the Greek marbles. It's also about the Parthenon marbles. It's also about the illicit trafficking. So I think this is a very interesting but also very current discussion that it's taking place in Greece.
And just to wrap things up a little bit here, I know you have a busy schedule ahead of you. And I just want to take it back a little bit to Endeavor, and what are you seeing from this generation of Greek diaspora that maybe is different, maybe the same as other generations that you've come across with? Because an entrepreneur doesn't have an age limit. What kind of tools do maybe the younger folks listening or watching, what can they expect moving forward from Endeavor? Where do you want to take Endeavor in the coming years, whatever you choose?
So first of all, I would say I see huge difference between generations. The mentality has changed. So the young people are really willing to try to travel. They are global citizens, okay, and that helps them to have a different mentality. In terms of Endeavor, open-minded, and I think there are people that you don't really differentiate them from the young people that you see around the world. I would say actually that we have an amazing young generation of Greeks, but I also have to say that as Endeavor, we're working very closely with the diaspora Greeks, as well as with internationals that they would like to have an impact in the Greek economy. So Endeavor Greece is not only about the Greeks, it's also about this other group of peoples, diaspora Greeks and internationals who want to come to Greece. And we are a platform open to everyone. Now, what we have achieved over these last years, I think, is also an indication of the work we've done and also how we see Endeavor moving forward. So we have already 44 entrepreneurs, but we're also supporting 200 companies with other programs, innovation programs that we run. We're also connected with universities. Like we are running a program with Columbia University together with also National Technical University of Athens. And we're building a program. It's going to start in a few months from now. Actually, I think it's in January, that we bring the research, that amazing research that is taking place in Greece. We're taking this out to market. So that one is something that the Greek academic ecosystem is not familiar with, but that with our input, also Colombia's input, can help them. And rather than stay as a research, it can actually be a spin out as a business. We're also doing a national campaign. We call it Innovation Nation. This national campaign tries to actually expand the narrative of the country. We're not only for tourism, but we're having a very strong innovative community. So we're also doing global events like Athens Innovation Summit. This year we had Demis Hassabis at the Herodian, 5,000 audience, watching an incredible discussion between Demis and our Prime Minister about the future of AI. And I would like to say that our AI entrepreneurs are very strong with Greek origin, are great in number, and these are with the companies that we will also try to get them for Endeavor Greece, have in our network. But we are also very strong in other verticals like biotech. So I think we have great scientists, and we need to support them. And I see a lot of potential for the future. To have this track moving forward, to continue having young entrepreneurs, I think these programs like the one we are now running with Colombia is essential.
And not only that, but this private university partnership, even that is cutting edge in Greece.
Indeed.
Just that concept alone, a lot of listeners and a lot of viewers might think they might take it for granted in wherever they're listening. This is something that is not in the established DNA of Greece. This is brand new, something that came about in the last few years with the Mitsotakis government in Greece, and Endeavor is clearly tapping into that. So it's an integrated network, and we encourage everybody who has that little bit of entrepreneurial spirit to join Endeavor, and hopefully they pass the rigorous process and become a part of that network. So,
I mean, we are very proud of our public universities. They actually have an amazing quality of studies, but I think the collaboration that we are now bringing in will also advance the outcome of all that research that is already taking place. And it's been acknowledged that the students coming out of the public universities are of very high levels, okay? Oh, yeah. But the fact that now we can expand in a world that is changing, so having these private universities in Greece, also establishing collaboration is a great step looking forward.
Oh, definitely not disparaging at all the public universities and the work that they do.
No, I mean...
It's so important because that makes it truly globalized. Because other nations where the private institutions are a little more deeply rooted have an outlet, a more organic outlet to enter the Greek market and tap into that Greek talent. So,
correct.
Costantza, thank you so very much for your time. I firmly encourage everybody to check out Endeavor, to check out Costantza's profiles on LinkedIn, on just about anywhere. You'll see her around in New York for panels for Endeavor. And just thank you so much for the work that you're doing to preserve our culture as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a great pleasure having this discussion with you. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
You've been watching Café Kouvénta and Ethnikos Kirikas and National Herald broadcast. You can find the full-length version on YouTube, and you can listen to it wherever you get your favorite podcast. So thank you very much, and thank you again, Costantza.
Thank you.
Thank you.